Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And today we're talking about redemption, Meg. A shoe that was bad is now good. I don't want to jump too far in front of the cart before the horse.
Something like that.
But we're gonna get to it. We're talking about the Adidas Adizero Boston 12.
12.
From Adizero to Hero.
Okay.
All right, you
really
like that?
driving it home.
Driving it home, because there's not a shoe that I disliked more than the Boston 10 and 11 for running. For looks, I thought they were pretty good looking. I liked wearing them for casual, but when we did our review, people were like, oh, you don't understand the shoe. It's firm, it's supposed to be fast, it's this and that. It takes 50 miles to break it in. When we talked to one of the Adidas designers, he was like, yeah, we tested it with all of our elites, so if you don't get it, well, maybe you're just not elite enough. Which could be true, but I feel a little vindicated because now with the Boston 12, a lot of the things that we complained about in the 10 and 11 are fixed.
Yeah, so I didn't really test the Boston 10 and 11 much.
I think it was too hard for you.
Yeah, I put it on and immediately took it off. So we have enough reviewers in this place that I let them take care of that. After one run in this, Thomas convinced me that I should in fact lace this up and try it out because it is such improved. And I have to say, I have some issues with it, but in general, it's nice.
So this shoe falls into this new category that we like talking about called the Super Trainer.
Trainers.
That was nice. Thank you for joining in there. Super Trainers. And what that is it's the race day ingredients put into a more durable shoe that you can use for speed work, for daily miles. This one's actually listed by Adidas as a shoe for tempo runs and speed work. But honestly, I think this is a great daily trainer.
Yeah, so let's talk about this upper. You have an engineered mesh upper, very thin tongue. It's not gusseted, but you do have this like internal, what do you call this?
What you have is some support on the lateral and medial side that come up and your laces
like
loop
wraps,
into it.
yeah.
So you've got a wrap. Why they just didn't incorporate the tongue into it, I don't know. But it wraps the foot and you can get a nice lockdown over the top of your foot.
So this is where I had a little bit of issues. The upper in general is great, very light, very breathable, no issues with rubbing or any hot spots like that. The lacing is where I had some issues. First of all, it's a very wide build, surprisingly. So I felt like there was plenty of room, in fact, maybe too much room where maybe I should half size down. And so what I ended up doing was cinching up these laces quite a bit and really tightening it down so that I had that secure lockdown fit. The problem with that is that I made it too tight and then the bottom of my feet really felt those energy rods, and it was not great.
So I had a different issue with the upper. I agree with Megan that it's a little roomy, and for my narrow foot, there's a lot of material here, and I did have to cinch up the laces pretty tightly. And then finally, they do one of those heel counters that doesn't have any padding along the Achilles line. So you have pillows on either side. These never seem to work perfectly. And I did originally, as I was trying to get the fit right on the upper, I did get a little bit of heel lift, but I was able to mitigate it. And by the end of my testing miles, I had a pretty good fit on the upper. I had the shoe dialed in where I wanted it. The weak part for me on this shoe is the upper. It is breathable and everything like that, but with the fit issues, this is the weakest part of the shoe. But lucky for Adidas and for us, this midsole rocks.
Yeah, so beneath the foot you have two different foams here. So you have the Light Strike Pro, which sits right beneath the foot. Then you've got those carbon rods. And then beneath that you have this new Light Strike 2.0. I'm
gonna correct you a little bit. It's not a carbon rod, it's actually a glass fiber rod, but it is the same configuration as you have in
energy
the Pro
rods,
3.
that's what
Energy
I meant to
rods,
say.
yeah.
I said carbon, I meant energy.
Yeah, energy rods, they're fiberglass, or as they say in Germany, glass fiber rods. If you remember the figure 8 kind of like rod situation that was in the Pro 3, same setup, but I believe that one's carbon infused. This is softer.
Yeah,
like
the Pro
undoubtedly softer.
Is very soft and nice. Whereas the Light Strike Pro, and I'm guessing this is probably for some durability enhancement and also just a little bit of a firmer ride, is you have that Light Strike 2.0 beneath the rods.
I think what it does is it gives you a little stability in the heel as well. And they softened up the Light Strike Pro, the Light Strike 2.0 So it's got a softer, bouncier feel, maybe a little more rubber in the foam itself. So it's much improved. The ride is so much better. Like as you land under the pad of your foot here in the front, should I say fat pad?
You love to.
I do. As you land right in there, you get that nice little give that then translates into the bounce. And really for a shoe with rods, the shoe is pretty flexible. Like look, I can get a nice little flex out of that, where some of the plated shoes, I don't feel like you can do that.
And then of course on the bottom here, this outsole is a nice slab of Continental rubber. This stuff is very grippy. Like you hear yourself walking around the house with this rubber. Like it is gripping onto things.
Overall, the much improved ride over the 10 and 11. It just has a softer feel. It's a little more flexible. The other one, when you landed, I felt like it didn't bend at all. It was just kind of like a block, and it felt like all the impact from the ground shot straight up your leg. This one, with the softer cushioning underfoot, it almost feels luxurious compared to it. It still has a snappy feel though. It's not a mushy, soft shoe. This one still picks up the pace.
Yeah, you can definitely pick up the pace in this one. I think because of those energy rods specifically, you get that nice little pop. And it really is, like we're talking about, it's this super trainer category where you have this daily trainer feel and durability, but with some of these key performance technology that they put in the race day shoes in this shoe as well.
So Meg, what is in this cushioning, what is the stack height that we're talking about in this shoe?
So you've got 37 millimeters in the heel, 30 and a half in the forefoot, 6.5 millimeter drop. So plenty of stack under there.
I know there's engineers and stuff, but like, why are we doing half millimeters?
I don't understand.
And
Stop
like,
doing the half.
Yeah, just
no
say,
one even knows.
We won't tell anybody.
No
just,
one knows.
Yeah, just be like, it's a 6 millimeter drop. This one still feels like it has a nice lean at 6 millimeter drop and still feels sporty.
Yeah, and speaking of sporty, it is nice and light considering you've got a lot of stack, you've got these energy rods, you've got kind of a lot going on. My women's size 7.5 came in at 7.65 ounces, which is pretty good.
So it definitely feels lighter than the 10 and 11 too. Mine comes in at 9.5 ounces or 270 grams, which is under 10 ounces for a daily trainer.
Pretty good.
That has this much rubber, this much midsole, all of these components. I feel like that's pretty decent.
Yeah. This is gonna come in at $160, so hitting that price point that we are seeing across the board for these daily trainers.
But it's a little less than some of the super trainers.
True. So it is a little bit more affordable because we're typically seeing closer to 180 for the shoes, the super trainers.
If they have a plate in it,
yeah,
you starting at 180.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a little more affordable. I even think with the complaints I have about the upper, this is still one of my favorite shoes that I've tested out this year. I really enjoyed running in this shoe. It's so much improved, and nothing makes me happier than when we see a shoe that we feel has obvious problems and the company goes and makes some changes and really cleans up the shoe and turns it into something very useful.
Yeah, so I think I already know what you're gonna give this. Despite, like Tom's saying, I also had some issues with the fit of the upper, which also caused some issues underneath of my foot. But I still think this is such a nice improvement, and I did enjoy a lot of the miles in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a green.
Boom! Both of us giving it a green. That's a win.
Yeah, so Boston 12. Nice update.
I think we're gonna need to do a wrap up of all the super trainers that are coming out,
yes,
because it's this new category that it's kind of emerged from, I would almost say, failed race day shoes that have turned into now super trainers.
I will include myself in this category. There's a lot of people who were using their race day shoes as daily trainers because
so much fun.
And because of the recovery properties you get from those carbon fiber plates or these energy rods, or some of this tech that helps with recovery as well. So I think it makes perfect sense that they are incorporating it into daily trainers.
And I also feel like this shoe is a perfect companion to the Pro 3.
Yeah.
So if you like the Pro 3 and you want to race in the Pro 3 and hopefully the Pro 4, this shoe would be a great shoe to get most of your training in for your long runs or your speed work there. Just to get used to the Pro 3, throw that on, and I think that you'll have a 1-2 punch that you're really gonna like. All right, so that wraps this one up, May. What else do we want people to do?
So if you haven't yet, definitely go and like this video, subscribe to the channel, check us out on Instagram, Facebook. We have a Strava group. We have 2 podcasts that drop. The Drop, which comes out every Friday and Monday, and then Fuel for the Soul, which is our podcast with sports dietitian Megan Featherston.
And one of the easiest ways to keep track of all this stuff is sign up for our weekly email. it's not bad at all. It's got some funny writing in it from Robbie, and it also lists out every review we did that week as far as written reviews and when we do a video review. So you can get one spot to find out what we're up to. So check that out and subscribe.
All right.